Oh man, gotta move the camera. Is it this way?
Yeah, this way.
So are we live? There we go.
There we go.
So we're live?
We're live.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. We're still trying to get this camera thing worked out, and we tried to position it this time without, screwing up, but we didn't do it. So be cool with us. So hi, this is going to be a portfolio review live, episode 19. I'm RT Bear. Over 30 years invested in this wacky comics industry that we call home. And as always, Taylor will be reading your messages. Hey, Taylor.
Hi, everyone. Hello, Con Rathov, who just greeted me. Art, he said he's digging the stream title today.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I always try to get the clickbaity titles, and then usually just, I'm just a super nice guy and informative. So thanks. Okay, so this is episode 19. I can't believe we already have 19 of these, Taylor.
It seems like just yesterday.
Just yesterday. We've only just begun, like the Carpenter song, to live or to live now. Yeah, so we're going to, how many pieces we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 pieces today. Some of them are most of them are pinups, I think, but one of them is storytelling. I like the storytelling pages the best. So when you guys send future pages, please send storytelling. I mean, the pinups are cool, so don't not do that. But I just get a lot of pinups more than storytelling, and I like to review the story panel continuity stuff better. It's more fun for me, and I think it's more entertaining for you guys as well. So thanks as always for tuning in, and we got a special little preview at the end of this. Taylor's been working really, really hard on the Indiegogo video.
And actually, Christ Energetics is in the chat right now, and you'll be hearing some of his music in this video.
Oh my gosh, the song is so amazing. Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to hear it. And we'll do like we did last time. We'll show you the video once, and we'll try not to talk over it. And then we'll show you another time, another run through, and then we'll kind of tell you what the changes are going to be. And then see if you guys agree. Give us some feedback. Will be cool. So let's do this. Numero uno. This is pretty good.
I think he included his name on top. Just as a reminder, guys, when you send your files, make sure to include your name.
It's always better when it's in the file name versus, I mean, this is good, but in the file name is good too, or even better sometimes. Wow, this is really good. I must be honest with you guys. I don't like reviewing really good pages. I can't find anything to say. Wow.
That guy's perspective is solid, says Con.
It sure is. Sweet Mama Jamma, that's really nice. It looks real familiar to me stylistically. So this is Marco. So Marco, very, very good. This layout is incredible, and the perspective is amazing. It's not a real high res, so I'll keep it a little smaller so the line work doesn't break up. So these are Marco's pencils. My gosh. Why is Marco not working professionally, Taylor?
Do you think that this is traditional?
You mean versus digital?
Yeah.
I'm not a good judge because this looks to me like pencil, but some of this stuff, it's so precise and dark, it looks digital to me. So I don't know. I haven't been able to figure out. I want to say it's traditional, just pencils on board. Nice style too. Wow, that panel is really nice. This person has to be working. Marco has to be working professionally, right, Taylor?
Somebody posted a note in the Dropbox where we received these things saying that they worked professionally in the 80s, but I don't know who it was because I don't think they included their name. So maybe it was Marco.
Yeah.
It wasn't attached to any artwork or anything. It was like a separate note added.
Well, like I said, when they're too good, I don't really know what to say. The only thing I see off the bat is that this guy's, this is really, really big in size. It looks like a Letterman jacket.
Geek
here.
Out Loud says maybe the turnaround time was something he couldn't handle. Like maybe this guy's work was slow or something.
Yeah, that's why I don't do more penciling, to be honest, as well. I'm not the fastest guy out there. Yeah, I think, what do you think, Taylor? A little bit less? That's still a little big.
Yeah, I think that sleeve's a little puffy. I think that a little bit less is good.
Yeah.
Unless it's a giant coat.
Well, it's the Letterman jacket here, so the sleeves are a little baggy, but I don't think they're that baggy. So I found one thing. This is kind of a pet peeve of mine. It's not always a deal breaker though, is like to draw the hand. He's got some thick, look at those thick fingers to go with his thick his thick sleeve. So like that, where you should draw the hand. Sometimes you can't see the fingers and stuff in real life, but I think for storytelling wise and just so it's not weird, the drawing, always try to include fingers or hands, or at least a piece of them, because it looks strange. Let me take the hand, my beautiful thick finger drawing away. So see, it looks weird. It looks like the hand's kind of just going into the head. You know, like it's just kind of going right into his skull. So I think let's see if I make smaller fingers still big. You know, something like that. And then his head, you know, keeps going around like this. I think it helps sell it better. So maybe if I look at this long enough, I'll find more problems with it. So Taylor, how do you feel about like sometimes where like when things go behind stuff and you don't see like certain aspects like hands and stuff? Do you think that's bad design?
Yeah, I think, like you said, even though the hand might be hidden back there, it's always good to show it. This guy obviously knows how to draw hands and stuff, but normally I think the mark of like a beginner is they sort of hide hands and feet in that kind of way.
Yeah,
So it always brings that to mind.
I agree. There's something that's been kind of nicking away at me here, and it looks like the sleeve is going this way in this direction from the elbow forward, and I think there should be more of this movement going this way. Even though the pocket is going this way, the sleeve shouldn't follow the same pattern as the pocket because it's moving a little forward, so the elbow's back here and then the forearm is moving forward here. So I think for me he's not really selling that the arm from the elbow forward is coming forward. It's a little low res, so it's kind of hard to see. But I like all this hinted rubble and all the background stuff is really, really nice.
If you guys send your files, please make sure that they're as high res as they can be, because that way art can see the line quality and stuff. I think especially when you're looking at inked pieces and stuff,
Yeah.
that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, thank you. That would be helpful. Yeah, looking at the face, this is going to be nitpicky, but that's why it's hard when people are this good. I think the tear duct should be in here, and then it should come over a little bit. I mean, it can end there, but I think it needs to come into the nose bridge here a little bit more. Not quite as much as I have, but a little bit more, because keep in mind, like, these the eye sockets are sunken in and the nose bridge is above that, so the eye kind of fits sometimes, depending on the angle, it will fit behind the nose. Like, I think this is right. Yeah, if you brought the eye out to there, I think it would sell it better, the angle. But all your structure on his face and your ear location is really good. I'm not sure this, I think this is supposed to be his collarbone. I'm not sure that maybe an inker could fix that, but um, maybe it would be better if the collarbone was here instead of here. It just looks, to me, it looks a little odd because light source is coming in this direction. It looks like, I mean, from overhead. Let me do this again. More like this. So I think maybe, let me find my black. If there was a deeper shadow in here and maybe continuing, it looks like he's got a baggy, kind of loose fitting shirt. So maybe if there was more black there, or sometimes what you can do is I know there are a lot of solid blacks. They just don't look black because they're pretty grayed down. But if you did this and then put the collarbone here, excuse me, and then pushed a heavier black back in here, then I think it would sell this whole thing better. And what you can do, since I put this solid black here, is when you do this shadow under his chin here on the neck, do it more as a thick to thin fade, so you can kind of fade. Like, let's see if I can do this. It's gonna bust up if I go bigger. The resolution. Let me see if I can. Yeah, the pixels are hard to see. But the basic idea here is that you start fading or thickening the line at the end in here, so you fade from light to dark. And you do that with a thicker here and a thinner here. And then as they recess into this black shadow here, they get closer together and they get thicker, the lines do, and it will give the illusion that it's fading into a black. Yeah, so I think that would help sell this a little bit better and help give a little bit of dimension. And it would be nice to see maybe some blacks in here a little bit, just something a little heavier to anchor things and maybe solidify, I don't know, some of that. Because this hair is going to be like just a big solid black shape. That's why I think there's pencilers that they always just pencil, but they never ink themselves. So sometimes they don't realize how things are going to look once you put a big heavy black into it. So sometimes things aren't resolved that well. But you can see, like, if I would have done this before I put the black here on the neck and the collar and the arm, it would just be a big black shape. I've seen styles like that, but I don't really care for them. So I think even if you just like print out your pencils, like once you get them done, print them out on a sheet of paper and then get a Sharpie, get a marker, and just go over them and fill your blacks in a solid way. And then just see how, if there's balance with the blacks. Because I really do feel this panel right here, if I didn't add these blacks, these little pieces here, and here on the neck and the collar, and I don't know, I mean, maybe even here it might help sell, some of the movement and some of the depth here. Maybe put a thicker line here. That's way exaggerated. This is subtler of a style, but you guys get the idea that by doing that, it starts kind of working better, especially with this big solid black right there. So, I don't know, it seems like most of my problems are with just that, because looking back on this, I think the blacks balance out pretty well in this splash, or the bigger panel, I mean. So if you guys have any critiques you want to add, chat it up. Yeah, this is hard to tell if this is a black. I think it is, though. And if these are, those are pretty cool with the black in here. And then this looks like it's solid.
Do you think this would be an easy style to ink, or do you think this would be difficult for an inker to interpret?
It wouldn't be hard for me to ink, but there are some challenges, just because I don't think there's harmony with the blacks. The blacks, some of them feel like they're just put in place, but some of them feel like they're way better resolved, like all this stuff on this guy's jacket and things. This is really cool. So
Geek Out Loud says you're very brave to do a portfolio review using this mouse.
I tried using Wacom, but I'm a lot more comfortable with this. I know you guys can hear the clicking. Yeah, I think this is an amazing panel, this last panel. So really the biggest problems I see are this middle horizontal panel.
Khan says his only minor nitpick is the worker in the bottom looks like he might be tiptoeing.
Oh, this guy here, let me find my red just to make sure that I'm on the same page. Let me find this. This guy here, maybe. I don't know, this one foot looks pretty solid to me. This foot is in motion.
Unless he means the one in the background. But I don't think he's on his toes. I can't really tell.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe a little bit. And I don't have a real problem with it. I think this is pretty amazing.
Clicking adds to the aesthetics, says the chat.
Well, every time I go on like other people's YouTube, like Mike's or Ethan's, they always call me, is it a boomer? Like I'm just an old man. So, but to be honest, I mean, I have tried a Wacom. I just really like this better. Okay, so Marco, very, very good. I think you should be working professionally. That was really hard. You really challenged me, so I had to dig down to find anything to say about it.
Oh, Joe says another minor nitpick is the two profile shots of the lady. I guess they're very similar.
Oh yeah, they don't vary. That's not a bad observation.
That's more of a layout thing, he says.
Yeah, it's drawn well, but yeah, it is a layout thing. And I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, maybe. What do you guys think? Is it too repetitious? Would you like to see maybe a 3/4 profile versus just a full profile? Maybe something, let me see if I can do this, where she's more like the nose bridge is back here, and her eyes here, and her other eyes here, mouth here, hair pulled back.
NE Dynamo says, Archie Bear, we call Ethan, Mike, and Edwin boomers and make fun of them all the time. You're not the only one.
I'm just the oldest one. I'm the oldest one. Okay, let me clean this up now. Now you got me invested in this.
A 3/4 profile would show the artist's ability a bit more, in my opinion, says Joe.
Thank you, Joe, since I'm gonna put some time and effort into this. Yeah, you know what? That might let me do. I think this has to come out a little bit more. Let me get my white again. She's got a really long nose. Now you guys can critique my drawing. She's got a witchy poo nose. That's a boomer joke. Yeah, that could be a little bit better, because also if she's looking a little bit more towards us, then when this profile it helps sell that she's really turning around to look at what's behind her.
HR Puffin Stuff calls out MK Geiger.
Hell yeah. Yeah, who are you gonna call? Who are you gonna call when things get rough? You're gonna call me. Oh my gosh!
Whoa.
Look at Zach. Was it Zach? Who I saw?
Zach W.
Zach W. Wow, this looks like it should be in Lone Star. Look, he even gave us a little extra here. Oh, and an eraser.
Just so you know, it's traditional.
Just so you know, it's traditional. This was hand done, man. This ain't digital. This ain't digital, man. I love this. Look at this guy. This is vicious. You know, sometimes like these things look like, oh man, that guy's got a gun, so you know these guys are really gonna get it. Almost like looking like these guys are almost victims because this guy looks so badass. But this is one of those cases where I don't know, man. This could go either way, right? Like these guys are either gonna kick his butt or he's gonna kick their butt, even though he's got a gun, because I don't know. These guys look pretty tough.
Look like zombies.
Yeah, but this guy's pulling out an Uzi. This guy's got a vest on, so I get the feeling that even with the vest on, that he's probably going to keep going. Yeah, let's try to find some stuff out. I like this. I think just stylistically, it's pretty cool looking. It's comic booky, but it's tonal with a pencil. So I don't know very many outlets for this. I don't know how many different publishers would even be looking at something like this.
Maybe a deep indie book.
Yeah, or if it's a personal, like book that you want to get going. It's a really cool, unique style, but I think
Joe says it's like a very early Eastman and Laird style.
yeah.
Oh, Con, did you draw this? Because he said I like very capable villains.
Yeah, I mean, look at these guys. Like this, personally, this is where let's chime in. Who's gonna win this battle?
It is Cons. He says they're supposed to be huge. So
Oh, okay. Thanks for saying that, because that was gonna be my review, that they look a little big. Thank you for saying that. I don't know, Con. I think these guys are gonna beat your hero. What does the chat say? What do you say, Taylor?
He's facing 3 of them, and that one dude looks like he might have taken a hit, and he's still grabbing that Uzi.
Yeah, this guy's getting popped right here, but he has a vest, so he's dropping his weapon. But I have a feeling that's not going to take this guy down. So he's gonna he's just going to bend over and pick up his Uzi, and even if he or his rifle here, even if he doesn't have that rifle, if he can take a couple hits from this vest and keep walking forward, this guy's dust. I think this one guy alone could take him.
Unless his armor gives him special abilities.
Oh God, but just the size. These guys are going to throw this guy around like a rag doll. I like this actually. This is pretty cool. Um, Gosh, I'm so enamored. I gotta find something. Oh golly, I'm sorry, guys.
Interesting textures on stuff.
Yeah, I like the depth in the rotting skin. He puts this deep shadows in things, so there's a lot of depth between the skin and the muscle.
It's like an MC Escher comic book.
Yeah,
Oh, Joe says, in a way, it reminds me of R. Crumb.
little crummy. If it was rendered the heck out of, like if it was more like traditional pen and ink, I would like to see this in pen and ink too. Gosh.
There's a subway car in the back. Joe says, the feet and the motion kind of have that R. Crumb vibe. And Khan says he can turn invisible, so I guess the hero will be okay.
Yeah, but he'd have to turn invisible and then jump on that that subway car and get the heck out of there. Oh my gosh. The only thing, okay, let's try to analyze this. There is something going on perspectively speaking. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not sure if I can draw guidelines to work it out. But these three giants, like if they're all around the same size, maybe it's this middle guy. This middle guy looks like he's possibly up a little too high compositionally, because let's see if I can do what I'm thinking.
Yeah, MK wants to know if you're going to use the ceiling and the edge of the floor. Or he says, use the ceiling and the edge of the floor. I guess that's kind of what you're doing already.
Yeah. This guy in the background here and this guy in the foreground look like they could be sharing the same space. But let me get my paintbrush. But this guy looks like he's a little too high. Like if you kind of measure them by, their crotches here and here. So this guy looks like he possibly should be like down here, like this is where his butt and maybe his shoulders, and then still try to bring his arm around, so you have that framing device that you did there, which was very cool. Those are nice design elements. And then his arm going this way and his head here. And then his leg would probably be cropped out of the frame with his foot up here. So I don't know, maybe up a little higher. He looks, the way I drew him, he looks a little small still. So let me think. Okay, let's do it this way. I'm trying to avoid like regridding this entire thing. So I hope you guys can see where I'm going. Like if this guy is the smallest point, then if we measure him with the guy in the foreground, then possibly I did draw him too low. So if we bring this guy up here, where his head's right here, and then his arm would fit in better here. Let me see if I can get a different, something like this. As a shape. This foot here. I like the foot because it looks like he's kind of walking forward but also getting pushed back by this blast over here. Yeah, I think, but it makes the problem is it makes him look like he's further back from this guy. So let's see if I can backpedal on all this. I might not be able to go that far back. I won't be able to go that far back. So I think, oh, this is difficult. Yeah, what I drew was it would probably be more correct, but you're losing the impact of this guy, the immediacy of this guy on top of our hero, the giant. So I don't know. I think he then would have to be smaller, and then possibly moved up in here, like where his foot is here. So then he's more like right here from head to toe, but he'd be a lot smaller. So then he looks like he's like right on top of this guy. But the only problem is this guy would maybe look smaller. I don't know. It's really hard to say without kind of gridding this thing up and spending a little bit more time with it. But in a nutshell, I think it's this middle figure here that might be throwing things off, at least for me. I don't know. What do you guys think?
MK says that maybe the front guy is too big. Do you think the middle guy is the main offender of this, though?
I do. What do you think, Taylor?
I think the front guy's fine. I think you're right. I think it is the middle that's more of throwing it off.
Oops, what did I do? I did the wrong thing. I did a bad thing. Okay, I want my red back. And I want this. Yeah, I don't know. Like if the perspective is, if these guys kind of line up, then if this guy looks like he's almost on the same plane as that background guy. So if he's kind of on the like a similar plane, like their feet are like in the same place, he just looks a little big compared to this guy back here. So I maybe another solution would be making the background guy bigger, but it might be making your giants too big because I don't know what size your giants are in comparison to your hero here. But this is really good. This is a really ambitious, dramatic shot. Yeah, and it's quite good. The only drawing thing, what I would do is it's cool for your villains to be kind of stubby and stuff, but I think I would thin your hero out a little bit. He's a little thick. I think proportionally speaking, it's good, but he's a little thick.
Stocky.
Yeah, yeah. And then maybe this knee should probably go this way a little bit more. So your circle is right here. Your knee pad. Yeah, I like
Cons
it.
is he supposed to be short?
Yeah, he could still be short, but I think if you thin out some of his limbs a little bit, he'll look less stocky. And I'm not sure if this is a collar here or if that's his back. And if it's his back, I would bring this down a little. If he has like a high collar that's turned up, then it's fine. But this is, like I said, this is a really ambitious piece. There's a lot of perspective stuff going on here.
What's in that big guy's pocket? He's got something in like his shorts pocket. The little guy's pulling the knife.
Oh,
Yeah.
right here? Let's see. Like a little critter.
Oh, it's a critter.
He's got a critter. A three-eyed critter. That's cool. Yeah, this is really nice. The next thing, possibly the back of his hand is it's a little short. And then bring the three-fingered. He's got the three fingers in here somewhere. Just to elongate the back of the hand a little bit more. I think it would help. I like the design of these giants and stuff. It's really cool. Yeah, really, really nice. The perspective, like I said, is really ambitious, and he did. Is it Khan?
Yes.
Did this really? I forget what they call this. Is it like a fisheye kind of lens idea? and it looks pretty consistent. So there's a lot of work going on here. This is a really ambitious perspective shot. There's a lot going on. So I applaud your ambition here. It's really, really good. Keep up the good work, my friend. All right. These say they're inks, or is that just the guy's name?
Yeah, they're inks. He just put the title, I guess, is the title of the book, which is Gecko Man.
It's Gecko Man, so I think the character is Gecko Man. I don't think the artist is Gecko Man. What do you think?
I know that girl has a crested gecko head, which happens to be my favorite kind of gecko.
The crested?
Yeah, they're very cute.
Looks like it's got a pig nose, though.
They kind of do look. That looks a pretty good likeness to one, though, I have
Is
to
it?
say.
Oh, she's hot. So, am I critiquing the inks then, or the drawing as well?
I think that he did both.
Okay. Gecko Man. All right. Is this the gecko tail from this Gecko Man here? I don't think his name's Gecko Man because he's got an LL on his chest.
Oh, is that Gecko Man in the very background climbing?
Possibly, but he looks like he's got a crow head.
This is confusing.
I'm really thrown off here because this looks like more of a traditional gecko head. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. My favorite thing on this is this pelican. I think this thing looks cool.
It looks like a cool logo.
Yeah, it's very graphic. All these pullouts right here are really nice. It's pretty good precision. If these are inks, I think your circle here, you should, well, one, if you penciled and inked it, you should get some templates. And it looks like the inside ellipse is good, but this outside one looks like it kind of falls apart. So I'd get yourself some good tools. It's very solid. The drawing's very, very solid. I like it. Ugh. If this is Gecko Lady's hand, she's got a really big hand. I'm actually still drawing it too big. Yeah, I know it's coming in the foreground, but based on the size of her arm right here, I don't see as how her hand could even really be there. Let's see if we can draw. Maybe if you start really pushing the perspective. But it still looks awkward. What do you think, Taylor? Is it awkward?
Yeah, I actually didn't even see her hand there right away until you pointed it out.
Yeah, I think it would be better, and this is going to sound contrary to I like to draw the hands here, but I think it would almost be better if the hand wasn't there. Because her arm looks like it's going away from you. It doesn't look like it's coming forward, and her body attitude is like, oh man, I lost my red. Let me go find some red. Give me a red.
By the way, the only reason I chuckled is because it's called Gecko Man, and the woman's kind of in the forefront, like she's the main character.
Gecko Lady. I guess this is close enough. Yeah, so this arm to me looks like it's going away, and her body is turned this way. So usually when you have movement going in this direction, you don't have an arm coming forward like this. And also she looks pretty far away from that ledge. Oh, I see. Her foot's on the ledge. Wow, she looked like she was further back to me from the ledge. Yeah, there's something happening here. So, I don't know, maybe if you, like I originally said, if you foreshortened the arm and maybe made it a little bigger, it could possibly work. It just, to me, it looks a little awkward. This gecko, this mask thing is pretty cool though.
Con says gecko lass.
Gecko lass. Gecko man is happy to be Gecko man. Look at that. Look at that chagrin. I think
What is the LL guy standing on as MK?
he's floating. That is a good call. Yeah, his foot would be right here somewhere. So LL man is for levitation lad. So he's levitating in the black. Yeah, that was a good call. I want to give myself credit that eventually I would have found it, but you found it faster, so that's good. Wow, this is also, I'm sorry, this is pulled down pretty damn far.
Wait, is that her skin? And that's
I think that's her belly button. Yeah, I don't know. Even regardless, it's maybe she should pull up her pants. I'm not a prude, but that's just a little far. Even for Lady Death, that would be too far. Yeah, I think if his foot's somewhere in here, then I think maybe a hint of like a platform or another ledge or something back in here that he could be standing on. Because otherwise, yeah, it does look really weird. So that was a great call, whoever said that. And I don't know, this tail looks like a second, like an afterthought. I don't know. I think it would be damn cool if it was like whipping in front of him. Or wait, let me figure this out. Okay, so it's coming from behind, and maybe, dang darn it. Okay, so let's do this more fluid. Maybe slightly crossing in front of him.
The chat agrees the current tail is way too low.
Yeah, it's a little low, and it's just kind of it's not very dramatic. So I think, I don't know about crossing it in front of his arm, but maybe, let's see. I'm getting obsessed with this tail. Maybe something like that. Or there's a lot of things that you can do. But when you lay these ideas out, always think of like how you can possibly be bringing them back into the composition. So if it's like this, then it's kind of bringing your eye back around. I mean, even the one that's here is not bad because it's kind of going down towards her, which is not a bad idea. I would really start working on my foreshortening, because I think you're kind of making these things a little too short. They're a little too stubby. And also, one thing that Greg Capullo told me, he said, straight is boring. So if you bend that arm slightly and then have the wrist going in this direction, then you have this nice movement of boom, boom, boom. So shoulder to elbow, elbow to wrist, and then wrist to fingertip. So you have kind of this rhythm that every one of those joints is moving in a different direction, so it doesn't look as stagnant. There's a lot more movement. And also, just to be really frank with you guys, learn from my mistakes. These type of straight arms are almost always a losing proposition. They're so hard to draw, and they're so hard to make look right, because they are kind of, I don't know, they're stagnant. They're kind of boring, actually. So if you do bend a joint, it looks better. Bend the elbow, or something. And then you can bend the wrist again out a little bit. That's an exaggeration, but you get the hint. And your pecs, keep your perspective. You have these nice shoulders here. It looks like he's almost lined up with the background perspective, so then I would follow your pec, your interior stuff Doesn't look like it's following the same perspective. This part of his pec is up too high. And then once you do that, locate that, then your abs will, they kind of, the rib cage looks like it might be a little off, but the abs look pretty good. And then I see if you find the collarbone and then you draw your center line down, you can see how this should probably be moved over a little bit more, because the ab definition in the center is usually the center point of the body. So I see that, and I know this is kind of cartoony, so it could be the style. So this might be a little bit of nitpicky, but your heads are really big. Like this guy's head for this body is really big. Like if you go 1 head, 2 head, 3 heads, 4 heads, his crotch should be down here somewhere, because usually heroes are 7.5 to 8 heads tall, and usually right at the crotch, if they're standing straight up and not leaning over or back, they're usually about 4 heads from the top to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like, because usually the pec is 1, so that looks like it's right from here up, especially if with my redrawn pec here. But from here down, it looks like it's about a head, a half a head too short. And also, excuse me, maybe that's why this arm looks weird, because maybe it's not long enough. Because if your crotch is down here, I know it's foreshortened, it's coming at you, but maybe the wrist would be more in here. So maybe it'd be longer, but it also is a little boring because it's straight. And so if you look at her head size underneath the mask, it's pretty good size, it's pretty big. So I think she would benefit from a smaller head as well. But this is really nice. The inks are very controlled. I like that. And your villain, I think this crow guy is the villain. Do crows eat geckos, Taylor? Do you know?
Oh, maybe. They'll eat anything.
They'll eat anything. Yeah, there's another one of your foreshortened problems. It's kind of similar to Lady Gecko's down here, where I think he looks like he's further back, but yet his hand is right here. And the hand isn't a series of fingertips, like 1, 2, I'm gonna blow this up so you guys can see it better. So, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, actually it would be, let me make this smaller. So, like, where it'd be like in here somewhere, like these are just the tips. Because the palm, like if you draw through, the palm would be down in here. Because of the perspective, the top of this thing, you wouldn't see a lot of the hand. You would just maybe see the fingertips as they wrap, because they're wrapping the front of this plane. So he has the hand way in here. And just by drawing that shape, you can see it's totally disconnected from this arm. And so the arm is kind of like I was saying with Lady Gecko's, like it needs to start coming forward more, because it would really be extreme perspective. So I'd say from an up view like this, you have too much of the hand showing. You'd probably just see the fingertips, and then this would be bigger coming forward. I think his shoulder's up too high. I would bring the shoulder down. It would help sell the guy's head and the beak a little bit more as well. And then I think this will be my final, because we gotta move on. I think this moon as a design isn't serving the piece where it's at. I think what I would do is I would probably move it up, or somewhere. Now, this is a hard call.
I'm still not over the pelican, says Con.
The pelican's awesome. It's the best thing in here. I just think the moon looks a little too graphic in the way it's cropped. It doesn't look like a moon to me. It looks like a graphic element. And it doesn't help pull your eye to the crow dude.
The heavy black on the front of the moon looks so detailed, says MK.
Yeah, maybe if it was more simplified, but I do think it needs to be moved as well. It just looks cropped kind of odd. So maybe if the moon was a little more simplified, just keep the shapes around the perimeter, or the darks around the perimeter. Already that looks better, so that was a good call. Up, too far. Too small. Yeah, that helps. So let's review. Palm trees, pretty cool. I like the style, the way this palm tree's inked. All this detail over here is really cool. I'm actually taking notes. This is really nice. The trunk right here is a little too busy. And I would simplify some of this as well. It's a little too overly rendered. I would probably put more of a solid black behind it, right in here, and simplify some of this stuff. It's a little too busy. But yes, very good Gecko inks. Gecko Man inks. I like it. Keep working. Final Morning Monster color book, page bubbles, red shirt. All right, this is Final Morning Monster. Wow, pretty cool style. Pretty cool color work. Yeah, I can't see the name, so I'm just gonna call you Morning Monster. Ooh. Ooh. He's blowing bubbles instead of smoke. Well, this really looks like for a children's book or something, so it's really cool. It's a little bit out of my comic book critique area. What were we calling him, Taylor?
Oh, somethington bear. I almost said Barrington, but it wasn't.
He's a Borington. The Boringtons. Yeah, it's very cool. Off the bat, the only thing is the hands may be a little small. For some reason, when there's like animals that are drawn in more of a human way, I always like bears and stuff like that to have bigger hands. So the hand to me looks a little small. The textures on this thing, it's amazing. This is digital, right, Taylor? It's gotta be right.
For sure. That vest texture's pretty cool.
This glove is pretty amazing.
Looks very children's books, as MK. Good color.
Yeah, I think as far as a children's illustration, this is pretty darn good. Yeah, I'm trying here. I'm trying to find something. The only thing I see other than the hands is that maybe if there was more, I know you don't, it's kind of a kid's thing, and you usually don't get into too dramatic of lighting, and shadows. But if there was possibly, I don't know if you guys can see the red line there, um, with his armor, if possibly there was a little bit more of a cast shadow here, because it would delineate and add some dimension to the armor, and possibly he's got a shadow here, but maybe a little bit more exaggerated in here, and I think it would help pop that stuff a little bit better. So the only thing I see is that maybe, and this is a personal thing, because this is quite good um, for a kid's illustration, is maybe just some more shadow in certain places, maybe a little bit more in here, maybe a little bit more in here. Just to give it some more depth. I wouldn't do much because it's a really nice style, and you don't want to make it too dramatic with the lighting, because there's a pretty good balance right now. And I don't know, for my taste, I think this brim part, if you brought this darker color here and just filled that whole thing in with that darker color, I think it would probably help sell those planes a little bit better. So it's a little darker and stands out, and then maybe just to get the balance, a little bit of heavier in here and maybe in here, but not a lot, because you don't want to overdo it, because there's a nice stylized details going on here. But I think for me, like I said, other than the hands, I would probably bring some more shadow, just to bring out more depth to the image, and I think that would help. Possibly, I like the way the texture's done in this background, but it's real similar to his fur. So maybe if this was a brighter color in the background, it would help push him a little bit. Not that he needs to be pushed back from the background, but it might help sell his shape better.
A lot of people in the chat are talking about proportions and stuff. When it comes to pieces that are kind of stylized in this way, do you think proportions are still important?
It just depends, like how cartoony you're going with it, because obviously, like the Disney cartoon characters, they have bigger eyes and bigger heads than their bodies. They really have like childlike proportions, even though sometimes they're full adults. So you can play with stylizations that way, and I don't think there's any problem with it as long as it's consistent. So if that's going to be your reality, and they're going to have bigger heads and everything, just make sure that it's consistent throughout your universe. But this, I don't 2, 3, I don't know. I mean, he may be fairly human proportioned. Let me go 1, 2, 3, 4. It depends on where his crotch fits in. He could be pretty close to human proportions. I think the perspective on this one lens is off. It should be coming more forward. It's a little too going that way, but that's very nitpicky. This is quite good. For some reason, I think I want this eye to go over in this direction more. It looks like it's a little, I know he's got some wide set eyes, but it looks like it might be over a little bit too far. Just a tad. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but blowing it up, it's low res, is I like this mouth. Like it's slightly open right here. He's blowing out these bubbles in this direction, and then the one eyebrow's up higher. This is really good. I like it. It's the Barrington Bear. Sir Barrington. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. So we have Final, we have Morning Monster, we have Gecko Man Inks, we have Zach with the Giants. I'm still saying the Giants take that guy. And this guy, Marco Lorenzo. Let me see. Let me blow up so you guys can see Marco's name.
Lorenzana.
Lorenzana, yeah.
Interesting last name.
Yeah. So we have that. I think he's, as far as just mainstream kind of Marvel DC stuff, I think Marco's the closest to it. So should we do the video?
Yes. Keep in mind, you guys, this is still a draft. This is not the final version.
Yes. But we're just really excited about all this stuff. So we just want to share it with you guys, and also see what you think. So this is the video for. This is a rough work in progress video for the Indiegogo, and Taylor and I brainstormed it, and she put it all together and edited and grabbed and found all the pieces and put them together. So it's pretty amazing. She did a great job.
Aww.
You did a great job. Okay, here we go.
I'm Thibert, and as many of you know,
That's me.
I've been in the comics industry for over 30 years, working for companies like DC, Marvel, and Image. During that time, I've had the privilege of working on such characters as Superman, Batman, Flash, X-Men, Cable, Fantastic Four, and many more.
Impressive.
While at Image Comics, I had the opportunity to publish one of my career-long comics, Black and White. To be honest, this series is still one of my proudest achievements. During its run, Black and White had an amazing fan base. We published a 3-issue miniseries and a much sought-after
Ooh, that was
Look at that.
By the way, keep your eyes open because we're offering a limited exclusive tier with the original Ash Can. So, we had the
Already looking sharp, says
stories,
Con.
we had the
Cool.
merchandise, and the readers wanted to keep reading about the adventures of the ex-spy Reed Blackett and the smart-mouthed Whitney Song.
The heavenly days of ash cans, says
Yes.
MK.
And phone cards.
Oh man, who did that music?
I don't know. It sure is bad. Shut your mouth. Very good Christ energetics. I like that pen.
Black and White Remastered will be the first half of a 2-part 48-page graphic novel. For
You
this
guys will see the
campaign,
final
I
cover right here.
remastered every page from top to bottom. There are new colors and even new dialogue. Now, the book has a 21st century look and style. The story has been rewritten by me and the great new talent, Taylor Grosso.
That's you,
Don't
Taylor.
worry though, my wife
Great
Caroline is still
editing,
on
says
board
Christ
as
Energetics.
editor-in-chief. We couldn't
And
get
Pogs, says
the
Con.
done by the fantastic
Hey, thanks for the music.
and my friend Jeff Eichelberry will be doing the lettering. Together, we are really taking this book to the next level. Black and White is the story of Reed Blackett and Whitney Sung. Reed is a retired British MI10 agent with a checkered past who's lost his taste for destabilizing governments, killing without conscience, and the overall unethical lifestyle of a spy.
Ooh.
He seeks a more honest life as an importer-exporter of fine commodities. While negotiating with the beautiful and headstrong brewery heiress Whitney Sung, Reed finds himself captivated by her intelligence and drive. But when a monster, Jade Chang, rises from the ashes of Whitney's past and sets her world on fire, Reed sees that Whitney is no damsel in distress. Her ambition, attitude takes on an unmatched capacity for violence and vengeance. Fearing that Whitney will become the very monster she battles, Reed finds himself pushed back into the world of lies, subterfuge, and danger for which he was trained. Donning high-tech suits of armor, originally developed by MI10, the pair now has the ability to synchronize their consciousness and fight symbiotically. With increased combat capabilities, stamina, and the ability to absorb and redirect kinetic energy, Reed and Whitney take on a violent megalomaniac and his
Okay, watch this. Watch this,
I
guys.
need your help to bring this book to life.
Keep looking at the logo.
Reed and Whitney's Adventures is a dream 25 years in the making. Let's fund this series and give justice a whole new
Oh god, that's so cool.
People want to know, Art, if there's going to be an Art Coddles Nasser tier.
Coddles. Yeah, Ethan corrected me there. Yeah, it was supposed to be cuddles. I'll cuddle or coddle. Yeah, if you guys want it, I'm sure Nasser would be open to it. He seems to be open to most anything. So yeah, so that's the video, guys. So we thought we'd end on the Indiegogo black and white note. I think Taylor did an amazing job. So
Thank you.
get out, support her, tell her how much you like her video.
Ooh, people are full of questions. They want to know if you're going to have a commission level. Do you want to reveal that?
All I can say is we may have a commission level, a tier, but I don't think it's going to be at the very beginning. We might introduce it later on as we see how the campaign goes. So at this point, well, should I tell them?
Well, let's just say there will be original art tiers of some kind.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Yeah, I don't want to give away too much because what fun is there in that?
You'll just have to check it out Thursday to find out, you guys.
Yeah, we're so close. We're so close, guys. Right now, Taylor and my wife are putting together all the tiers and stuff like that. All the Indiegogo. What would you call that?
I want to call them rewards, but I think that's a Kickstarter term. We're putting together the whole campaign.
Yeah, so that's gonna be structured up today. I still have some commissions I'm getting out from under, so I should have that done today. So then I'm gonna be full time on promoting this Indiegogo and trying to get it into you guys' hands. So thank you so much for being this supportive so far, and thanks for supporting this channel. I am overwhelmed. We built this thing so quickly. I'm totally overwhelmed. I thought we would maybe have a few hundred people by this point, but we're over 1,000 people. So I appreciate and thanks guys so much because we can only do this with your help. So the readers and the viewers are such a big part of this, and without you, none of this would happen, and we wouldn't even be making these books, to be quite honest. So thank you, and independent is where my heart's at. It's where Taylor's heart's been at for a long time. So hopefully we do well, and if we do well, then we can kind of stay in this arena for you guys and keep putting out original content, outside of the Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Image arenas. So anyways, thanks again. If you know anybody that might like this content, likes comic books, likes the independent spirit, maybe is a fan of mine or Taylor's, please, turn them on to the site. What is the thing always?
Oh, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. And thanks again to Christ Energetics for that music.
Yeah, it came out so good. Once it clicks into that montage with that new music, it's pretty darn amazing. So thanks again, guys. We'll see you soon. Have a good day.
Keep an eye out for Thursday when the Indiegogo goes live.